So, hi, it's Devorah
Hi.
Roche from Kim Dash Real Estate, and I'm here with my friend Jodi Sugar, who is in Tzfat and Eretz Israel, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her life in Tzfat and what she's doing there and the community. So, without further ado, hi Jodi.
Hey.
So, tell me when did you land in Tzfat? How many years ago?
We moved here in 2011. We actually lived here in 1997, and we went back to Chicago for 14 years. And then in the middle of that, we bought property on paper, and then we moved here in 2011.
Amazing. Okay. And tell me about what you do in the community. What do you do?
Well, first off, I'm a photographer for about, I don't know, 25 years. And I make a calendar. And when we bought this property, we wanted 1.5 apartments, and he only wanted to sell us two. And one apartment is way too small when you're moving from America with 4 and 2.5 floors and a big backyard with a trampoline and a garage. So we weren't going to do that. So he said, "Why don't you make a bed and breakfast out of one of them, or just a rented apartment?" So thank God that worked out, and we run a Zimmer. It's right next door to our house. We share a
Perfect.
wall with it, and it's been awesome.
Amazing. First of all, I want to say I've had your calendar over the last umpteen years, and it's gorgeous. And every year I'm so inspired, and I love looking at all the pictures. They're stunning, and they just connect me to the land and to the holidays. And you do a great job. And secondly, so you're at Simmer, so you've been running at Simmer, and you live right next door. So that's amazing. That's a really nice, right next door business. Is it
Yeah, they
not easy, but I mean, like, how is it to run a simmer in Spot? Is it like technically doable? A lot of people are doing that. Do you recommend it?
they used to say SPOT stands for Tzarich Parnasa Tamid, which means you always need Parnasa. But
Yeah,
now they changed it to Simmer Parnasa Tamid. So if you have a simmer, you basically always have Parnasa. During Corona, it's been a little more challenging, but we got really lucky, and we've had a French family who, they're older, they don't want to go back to France, and they've been here since the beginning. So it's been
amazing.
less money, steady money, and I don't have to clean it.
Oh, that's a
And
big
they're great
help.
neighbors.
I know. It takes a lot of time
Um,
that happen on a regular basis. Okay, that's amazing. It's good to be able to roll and pivot in any business, with what's needed at the time.
pivot when you live in Israel, you always have to pivot. And I say it's like God speaks to us through people. So sometimes, like, how did I start my calendar? I went into one of the stores where I used to sell my pictures, and he said, "Oh, you made a calendar like back in 1997. We need that." So the last time I did it with a partner, and she moved back to the States, and I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And I got a graphic designer, and each year I had about 4 graphic designers, and I've been really happy with ZC for the past 4 years. And you have to like listen to what God says to you and what people say. Oh, actually, God says. I mean, He speaks to us through people, so you really have to listen. And you have to also pivot when you move here with schools. I feel like I should tell people, most people change schools. The kids change schools at least twice. I have
Hmm.
4 kids. I moved here, the youngest was 7. She's now 16. She's been in 4 different schools. She really loves where she is now. I have another kid that left Spot and went to an open out of Spot. I have another kid that was in the middle of high school, and it was a special school in Ramat Beit Shemesh. So she
Hmm.
finished high school there. And my son's been in a couple different yeshivas, and he's 24, and he's in Yerushalayim. People, it's not like America with like one community Jewish day school. Spot
Right.
has many options, from Chabad to Breslov to Beis Yaakov to an Opana to a B'nai Akiva to not so religious, and there's all different levels for all different kinds of families.
Okay, that's great information. And tell me about, like, is there like a single scene also living inside? Do you know anything about that? Just like, do you have friends who are or young unmarrieds or divorcees?
There's, um, there's not as many young singles. I would say if I was young and single, unless you're like really the spot type, then I've known some people that just love Tzfat, and they're just like, this is where I want to be. And there's a guy that says the same thing, and there's a few weddings from that. And a lot of older single women, not as many older single men.
That's universal everywhere, though, I think. But okay. What else?
The learning is amazing in Tzfat. There's Judy Paikin started this bat midrash for women instead of base midrash. She calls it bat midrash, and that's amazing. Still doing it during Corona with Zoom classes. We just had a whole entire day called between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. She does it for 12 hours. We have amazing teachers all over the world. Actually, someone from South Africa. But that's basically what Judy's program is, learning every Monday for women. There's other classes going on. My husband runs a men's kollel for older men, for Chabad men, but the people come. There's younger people. There's a lot of different institutions. There's a lot of learning for men, younger guys, like in their 20s. There's different 20s, 30s. Single scene, like I said, if you love Tzfat, come. If you're looking for your soulmate, look high low, and you might find him here or her.
Or at least you can pray there really well.
Yeah.
Yourself ready and network with your Tzfat friends. Another question. I know that Tzfat is a melting pot of all kinds of people and all kinds of derechs and spirituality and religiosity, but also I think it's a big place for Chabad community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's about 150 families in the Chabad community, I think. There's a lot of Chabadniks, and there's a lot of English-speaking people where I live in Givat Shoshana. It's in between Old City and the Chabad, Kiryat Chabad, which was started back in 1973. There's a lot of Chabad people in the Old City. So we're kind of spread out, but really more concentrated. Like where I live, the school is right up the hill. We originally moved to this neighborhood because the high school, all the schools for all our kids were going to be within walking distance. And I had a really good friend that lived 2 buildings away, so that was a big draw. Sometimes I want to live in Old City. You have to know if you live in Old City, there's a lot of mold because the houses had built-in mikvahs. I mean, it's wild to walk around because you walk around with the Arizal walked, but so they had built-in mikvahs. So as a result, there's like mold in the houses, and so that's a problem for some people unless you get new construction. And but the Old City is, I guess, more funky place to live, and it depends who you are.
Okay. But okay, and people come in from all over. I know the world, like also like vacation wise and holiday time, normally other than Corona times, like what's the kind of like the flavor, the feeling in the community?
Well, we have a klezmer festival usually every August, and that's for like 3 days. I love it. You walk on every street corner and there's a different musician and art and food. I mean, Shabbos is Shabbos, and it's absolutely amazing. And you can count the cars on your 1 or 2 fingers, 1 or 2 hands, I mean. And that's really amazing and spiritual. And you're davening, you can daven at the Abuhav. All these synagogues date from like the 15th century, the Abuhav and the Ari and Yosef Cairo. And there's also for the English-speaking community, there's Rabbi Traxler, Zalman Traxler is actually a chazan, and his wife Anna Traxler, and her father's actually my husband's originally rabbi from Chicago.
Oh, wow.
They're really
Incredible.
building up the English-speaking community. So if you want to go to a shul where you're going to meet a lot of English speakers, as South African, English, American, everything, and here is Devar Torah in English, Zalman Traxler's place is the place to go. He just about 6 months ago, he just rented a new building down in the bottom of the Artist Quarter called the Artist Quarter Minion. So that's really amazing. You can look them up online, Zalman Traxler.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, like, let's say the 55, 65, I don't want to call it the senior, but people are like in the retiree stage of life. Is there like a chevra for them to interact in the community,
Absolutely.
learning?
Yeah, part of the reason we chose Tzfat is we got a lot of bang for our buck. You know, we got 2 apartments, and I was living in the Rova before that, like looking at a 1-bedroom, tiny nothing, walking upstairs. I was like, oh my God, how am I ever going to do this? But I lived in the Rova in the old city for 5 years, and it was really hard for me to leave. But I really found my place in Tzfat, and the women are absolutely amazing. Like I said, there's the learning, and there's a lot of things for both men and women, I think. And Chabad in particular has like a lot of learning for men and for bring-ins and these things. My husband, like I said, he's in charge of the learning, and he works with Rabbi Marzel, who runs the Beit Chabad in the Old City. And for older people that are living on a retirees budget, Tzfat is just amazing. It's way cheaper than most other parts of the country. And if you look hard enough, you'll find a decent place to live, and certainly a great chavrei. And you just start coming to classes and you meet people. And the classes are for everyone. I mean, religious, not religious. There's Ascent. It's the youth hostel. We actually love Ascent, and we very much miss it now during Corona, because every Shabbos we would open the door and there would be 2 total strangers that came to our Shabbos table and feel like they left as friends. And we had on average 2 a week that's like 100 a year. Close to 1,000 people have come through our door.
Wow.
We just love people. So we really miss that during Corona time.
I totally.
And a lot of classes and a lot of connections, and there's workshops, and there's so much, there's spiritualities like oozing out of every corner, art everywhere, or an artist. Like a woman, Kathleen Wasserman, came to Tzfat. She would not describe herself as Orthodox, but she opened a glass workshop, and people know her all over the country, and they come and they create things.
Nice.
I actually just, there's a case from my daughter a couple months ago, and so people come, and you try hard enough and you can make it here.
Beautiful. Amazing. Yep, it sounds like a really fabulous community. And was I gonna say, you've got your kids in the neighborhood still? You have
just I only have one. I have one daughter in Tzfat, and one, God willing, on our way back from America, and one in the Chabad community in Lod, and my son is in Yerushalayim. So they keep on down to the Merkaz, but for now, Tzfat is our home.
Beautiful. Okay, I really appreciate your time and your information, and I'm going to put a link to your Facebook page, so if anybody needs to contact you and find out, get your calendar, or sign up to come to see your tzimmer available. I'm going to
most important things we didn't mention yet is the views. The views are just absolutely amazing. It's in the mountains. I see the Kinneret from my house, so even though I just came back from America and I've been bedewed, I'm in my our safe room here. That's the safe room window you see behind me. But I could do tashlich looking at the Kinneret from my balcony. And if you're not looking at the Kinneret, you're looking at the Mount Meron and the Rashbi, or you're looking at the ongoing mountains that you see all over the Galilee, and it's just absolutely amazing, and the weather is great, and you feel like fresh, clean air. And it's like, whenever I go to the Merkaz, I'm like, you're looking at another view, another city, or you barely see trees. It's like, I just need nature, and you really feel like you're nature here.
It sounds like a slice of heaven.
Another big drop.
Okay, amazing. I know, I love going there too. It really is, like, for me, it's, everybody, it depends on their energy and their makeup, and I love going to Tzfat. I always feel like extra oxygen when I'm there. Somehow there's just like something for my neshama. It just like opens up, and there's, like that feeling of unlimited possibilities and like a higher spiritual level when you just breathe in the air. So you're very blessed. Thanks, Jodi. Feel well, be well, enjoy your dude, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.